Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche. Everybody in Cyberland. It's a fair bawala. At least I hope so. Omo doing dileke. Alright guys. This is my last video for today. Probably gonna take a break for at least a day or two. Or maybe not. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. Typically I tell myself that and I don't take a break at all. But this is a sequel to the Help Me Help You. And I would like to announce that I'll be talking about Obge Tumako, which is Obge Otrupon, and particularly with Omo Oshun. Now, for Obge Tumako, there's a couple of things that resonate, right? For anybody who read my introduction, I think I spoke about the fact that I was a Catholic school boy at one point. And Obge Tumako reminds me of the biblical story in the Abrahamic religions that talks about Jesus. And depending on which Christianity version you read, right? Jesus didn't come, Jesus is coming. Yeah. Particularly, I want to talk about Jesus being born, right? And then the king is looking for the first the true born son of God, and this, that, and the other. And they're trying to assassinate him, right? Trying to kill him. In this sign, it speaks about that. But in different versions, through different patakis. In our version, in our religion, we remember the story where there was a king that knew that he was going to get dethroned. And because of that, he killed every male child that he had. And every male child that was conceived, he would kill him. And he did that. Not only just his, but everybody's in the kingdom. So the kingdom was just, it was crazy. So a girl goes to Orula, a woman goes to Orula and says, hey, I got a baby boy. He's about to be born, this, that, and the other. Do a bow here, take these arrows, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the baby is born, and the baby's divine. The baby is divine. The baby's blessed by Lofi himself. And because he was able to kind of maneuver through some things and he was blessed, he wasn't just an ordinary baby. And this one, it was like a boss baby. The baby started talking and everything. And told him, hey, put the crib by the door. Make sure you let everybody know I'm here. Don't worry about it. Let the assassins come and try to kill me. But he did it on purpose. Right? He was like, hey, just turn the crib so I can see the door when it opens. So boom, the door opens and the babies shoot arrows. Bang, bang, bang. Kills the first 7. Boom, kills the next 7. But anyway, then by the, it's all said and done, kills all the assassins. The king comes down, they make a deal. King gives his government and his kingdom to the baby because he knows that the baby is gonna know more than him and is gonna take over. It's gonna dethrone him. So that's it. It was inevitable. So what does that teach us in Otrupon with Omo Oshun? 2 things. When I think of Omo Oshun, I think of a mother wanting to conceive, and I know that a mother has to do it both. I would say that Omo Oshun, please understand that pregnancy in relationships that you're involved with, or you yourself, or maybe be pregnant. If you're a guy, maybe the woman is pregnant, whatever. Those pregnancies, you gotta do it both. You gotta do it both. 1 and 2. Not after you're done doing it both, you gotta figure out what you need to do for yourself. And the father of that baby, okay, needs to especially do it both. That baby could be the end of the father. Bottom line, I'm just gonna tell you how it is. So we start to talk about these things, but I really want to focus on a few other items here. In this sign, we talk about the beauty of children, and we talk about how we need to cherish them. We talk about that we need to be able to figure out ways on how we can better grow them. This particular sign not only speaks about physical birth, but spiritual birth. It especially speaks about godparents needing to attend their godchildren, because if they don't, that is the wrath of Olofi himself. It's not me. The godfather must always take care of the godchild, because the godchild's will, through the story of Obge Tumako, that's why I like this sign, is that your godfather is going to die if he doesn't do right by you. You're you're doing pretty good, Obge Tumako. All right? Because now, and I don't want to say you got somebody with a dangling carrot, but any babalao with any sense will know that Obge Tumako can take you out. So you got to be careful. You got to cherish that relationship, and you got to do right. Not that you need a sign to do that. Our ethical and moral values tell us that's what we should do anyway as a babalao. This is what it is, right? All right. So we talk about that. We talk about the male child that would dethrone the father do it bull, right? Okay. Should value the kids. All right. No matter how intelligent we think we are as adults, and I have this challenge at work a lot, and this is me trying to mentor and coach the future leaders, the people who are going to take over, right? And tell them, hey, no matter what, this generation may not be as witty as we are, but they're a hell of a lot smarter than we are. They have knowledge in the palm of their hands. They have the information age that is giving them more capability than we ever did growing up. And that's something to be valued. And the next generation is going to be better than that generation. And that's just the way life is. Obge Tumako. Another piece of advice. Don't challenge so much. Open your mind. Open your heart. Listen. Don't be so hard-headed, please. Don't be so hard-headed. However, with that said, we cannot be careless in the home when we are raising our kids, whether it's a spiritual home or a physical home. We have to be able to teach them the proper behavior and discipline in order for them to be raised to be a true king. We want to make sure that while you're in that process, remember that we are cherishing the child. Don't be so harsh on your child. Eguns need to be fed in this sign because I just told you of many different versions of death. We talk about the death of the firstborn childs, the males, particularly in the pataki. We talk about the death of the father. The father doesn't do a bull because the baby's going to dethrone him. I talk about death in general. So we have to make sure that we do two things. We have to feed egun. That's number one. Feed egun. Particularly in this sign, I want anybody who's Obge Otrupon to take a Ochosi arrow, right? So if you buy a set of guerreros, warriors, right? It's a little box comes with a bunch of tools, right? It's just tools. You're gonna take the arrow, the one that has like a little bow and arrow thing, right? And has a little arrow pointing through it, right? So it's like a U, a little chain, a little arrow, right? And I want you to put it on top of your door. I want you to put it on top of your door. Obge Otrupon needs to have that on top of his door. It's a representation of that pataki, and the reason why I told you that pataki. That arrow is going to protect you from all those obstacles that are going to try to come and disrupt your home. What did I tell you? Take care of your home, right? Men and women got to take care of their home. You got to raise your child right. You got to make sure the child doesn't dethrone the father. The father has to have a heavy hand, but without being too dominating. He needs to be able to understand, not just with the children, but with everybody. So we got to keep talking about these things, right? But more importantly, in this sign, this is where there's another pataki that talks about when a Lofi had too many kids. It was all the adults, humans got sent to Earth. All the kids stood. There was too many adults down there, and the story is heaven got filled with kids, and we're calling heaven for the sake of trying to dig too deep into philosophy. But it got too full, and Lofi couldn't figure it out. And then Ifa came, and Ifa did a bull and said, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna solve this problem." So they solved the problem for Olofin. So from that day forward, Olofin gave the ache to Orula, and Ifa gave him his ache. Some of it anyway, right? And it's another version of the story on why we always tell people that Olofi is the governor of all ceremonies, but more importantly, gives the Babalaos the ache to do things. Gives the ache to run certain ceremonies of certain aspects. Because every time you look around, there's a sign that's talking about some type of celestial order of things. So with that said, that's Obge Tumako. Something else before I end with Obge Tumako that kind of always is stuck in my head, and I always try to figure out a nice way to do it, is particularly in this one, Omo Oshun. And I want to fit Omo Oshun in there just a little bit better. Because there's a pact between Oshun and Orula in this Odun. So it's very important that we honor the herbs. But more importantly, we honor the river, because it was the same river that some of the herbs were grown that were needed when Oshun was a slave and made the pact with Orunmila. And then we talk about Babalu Aye in Otrupon, which I want to let you know that Babalu Aye is pretty relevant in this sign. And Babalu Aye was always the lesser of the energies when it came to Oshun. So always fell to the energy of Oshun. So Babalu Aye is a very strong energy here. So to close, we got to make sure that a couple of things are understood when we talk about Otrupon, because there's a lot to it. 1, take care of your home. 2, take care of your children. 3, if you're going to give birth, you take care of yourself. 4, if you are the father of the child that's giving birth, or that you are the father of a child being born and you have Otrupon, you need to do a bo. The child needs to do a bo. We need to protect the child with a arrow of Ochosi, but not only the child, but the home itself, and we're going to put it up. We got to raise the child very well, but we always got to remember that the children are always going to be smarter than us adults, and we need to accept that, and we need to cherish it and harness it, right? Harness it. There's quite a few things that we want to make sure that we do, but more importantly, always remember that at the end of the day, beautiful sign, a lot to talk about, be careful about, we mentioned the Pataki with the kingdom, right, and the king and the tyranny. Don't run your home so ragged, right? Make sure your home is always positive and full of goodness. But yeah, there's your Obge Tumako. And we talk about Oshun. Oshun, you are a good mother, okay? And Oshun, you are a good father. So make sure that you instill that and do the right thing. Seek a Babalao, do the ebos you're supposed to do, and call it good. Something else before I jump off. I'm gonna give you one more ebo. Otrupon. Please put a bottle of rum. You can get aguardiente and put it next to Ogun. An unopened bottle of rum next to Ogun. That's all I'm gonna leave you with. But with that said, like, share, subscribe. Always here for you guys. There's your Help Me Help You series. I'm catching up. Iburu, Iboya, Ibucheche.